Rifftrains viewers, it is I, DarthRatbat, aka Darth Boko, aka Darth Crusher, aka several other internet pseudonyms. DarthRatbat I'll use here, though, because this is for the YouTube audience. Welcome to the Rifftrains Q&A special, in which I sit here and ramble. Or I try not to ramble as much as possible, given that this is my third time recording this thing, given that I've rambled too long in both the other tracks. So I'll do my best here, and try to keep this as short as I can possibly keep it, while still keeping it informative. Alright, let's get right into the thick of things. I have all my questions written down here, and I shall use these to answer them. Here is a question for the Rifftrain special. How exactly do you obtain the video footage you riff? Do you rip them yourself, or ask someone else to, and if yourself, with what software? Main reason I'm asking this, I'm watching James the Second Best, and it would make a really good Rifftrains, and I just want to try my hand at your craft. However, I'm not sure where to begin. Alright, here is where to begin. There is a video ripping software called Zamzar. It's a website that's very easy to find, although I will provide a link in the description. It basically allows you to rip video directly from YouTube, ad-free, and in pretty much whatever format you would want it in. You can even rip the sound off a video and put that on your iPod or something. But that's where you want to start. I get my footage directly from YouTube, and apologies in advance if I've ever stolen footage from anybody, but let's be completely honest here. If you uploaded Thomas the Tank Engine footage to YouTube, it's not really your property. So, take that. So that's what you're going to do. You take it from there. I usually put it in MP4 format, because I import it right into iMovie after that. You're going to want that. Okay. There's three things you'll need definitely for sure in order to make a Rifftrains type of video. You need good to medium great to medium quality footage. Basically, you need to be able to see and hear what is going on. If you can't, in addition to your commentary, then that is not a good thing. If the commentary or if the audio is out of sync with the visual, that is also not a good thing. You'll need a website like Zamzar in order to rip said footage. You'll also need a good microphone, like the one that's built into my laptop right here, or you can buy microphones separate from your laptop. I think I have an old one lying around somewhere from prior to having a laptop, but it had really crappy quality though. So buy the best microphone you can. It's a good investment if you want to do online voice acting or any of that kind of thing. And you also need, yeah, that's what I was going to go towards earlier when I went on to the voice acting tangent. You want a good video editing software, such as, for Mac, iMovie comes with most standard Macs, and it's pretty easy to obtain otherwise. And for Windows Movie Maker is, I've heard, a pretty easy thing to use. It's not the most professional looking thing, ditto iMovie, but they get the job done if you can't afford like Final Cut Pro or Sony Vegas or one of those, or Adobe Premiere. I think Adobe Premiere is a video thing. Well, anyways, so that's where you start, and that's how I rip video. Can you do more Season 12 episodes? Asks SSBB Master L5. And also, who is your favorite engine? Yes, I can do more Season 12 episodes. I would like feedback as to which Season 12 episodes are particularly worthy of mockery, though. Because I am a busy man. I may have more time to do Rifftrain stuff now due to my school semester being over, but I'm working part-time now, and I've got busy stuff to do. DC Universe Online, for example. But in other words, I don't have time to watch through every single episode of Thomas in the pursuit of this stuff. If you have an episode that you really dislike, and you think that would make a good Rifftrains, I can give you two possible courses of action. One, tell me about it. I will make sure to watch it and see if I think it's worthy of riffing. Or B, you can try doing your own video. which has been known to work also. And in addition to the making your own kind of thing, I'm working on a how to make Rifftrains video. I've started scripting it. It's going to be a lot more formal than the thing I'm making right now. So look out for that at some point. You'll see it eventually, once I've finished it. And who's my favorite engine? Duck is my favorite engine. Duck is my favorite engine for a variety of factors. He has a cool shape. He has a nice, awesome personality. He's got a cool sense of humor to him. And I think part of this is also the fact that he rarely ever shows up now in pretty much anything. And that's kind of made me appreciate his few appearances, or not really few, but his appearances in the series proper prior to now. Okay, next up is, where is my PlayStation 2? Huh. Have you looked behind the couch? That's where I'd look. Either that or over by the TV, or just think of the last place you had it, and it might be there. If not, I don't have any magic PlayStation 2 locating software on my computer or anything. Okay. When did you first get the idea to make your Rifftrains, and what inspired you to do it? I first got my idea to make Rifftrains in 2009. 2009. Early 2009, actually. The first one came out in the fall of 2009. But I first had the idea to make one earlier that year. It was always going to be of the Flying Kipper. That was my idea initially, and that's the idea that came into fruition in the actual video. I got my inspiration from a variety of sources, such as Mystery Science Theater 3000, the show where they watched bad movies and made fun of them. Rifftrains, which is the it's the second generation Mystery Science Theater, basically. It's where the guys who made MST3K what they currently do. And I also got inspiration from my nemesis, Mr. J. Alaric, or as he's known on YouTube, Damus, who I believe I linked in another video, but his stuff is worth checking out. He did that awesome Rusty and the Boulder redub a while back. He's not really done much recently, but and he did the Trouble in the Shed trilogy with the Fat Controller's monologues. Those were his idea, so that's worth checking out. And what else we got here? TV's Craig Ferguson. Yes. The Late Late Show. Do you watch The Late Late Show with TV's Craig Ferguson on a regular basis? You mentioned him in one of your riffs and have featured or have favorited videos of his show too, I think. Yes, I watch Craig Ferguson every night. He is one of the few late night hosts that I love unconditionally. Well, not in like a emotional sense, more like I love to watch his show. Not I love him as a person and want to have his babies, not something like that. But yeah, Craig Ferguson's cool. He's got this offbeat sense of humor that appeals to me. He's kind of he's kind of nerdy, which is kind of awesome, and I love the puppet cold opens that he does. You may have noticed in the last time I got in front of the camera, I had a rabbit puppet briefly. That's one of the puppets that Craig Ferguson uses on his show, which I found at like a craft store, I think. They had some, and I immediately thought, holy crap, it's Sid the Cussing Rabbit! So I got that, and now I have a cussing rabbit puppet. It won't shut up. Perhaps I'll, April Fool's Day or something, do a Sid the Cussing Rabbit riffs something. That might be fun. Now that I've told you about it, that would ruin the surprise. But oh well. Yes, I do regularly watch Craig Ferguson, to answer your question. Is Rifftrains scripted? Also, how do you feel about Sharon Miller leaving the head writer position, and do you expect any sort of improvement from the new one? Let's start out. Rifftrains is, to an extent, scripted. I will watch the episodes several times before I rip them off YouTube. At which point, I will write down jokes that I want to make sure to make, when I actually am recording. Other than that, I basically I put the episode. I'm moving around on my chair, so sorry about this kind of thing. So what was I talking about? I lose my train of thought fairly easily. Be forewarned. Rifftrains. Crap! I just totally lost my train of thought. And I'm back. I just cut some of this out because I lost my train of thought terribly. In Rifftrains scripted, that's what I was talking about. Yes, Rifftrains is scripted because I write down those jokes. But when it's actually in iMovie, I will usually go from the start of the episode to the finish of the episode and record lines. Things that I find funny, things that I'd like to point out, that kind of thing. Usually in linear order, although I might stick in a couple things in the middle first if I have a particularly good joke idea. So to that extent, Rifftrains is scripted. However, most of the jokes that I put in linearly, or I don't think linearly is an actual word, but in the linear nature of this, do you want me to go get a chart? Would that help? But most of those jokes are more improvised on the spot. So there you go. How do I feel about Sharon Miller leaving the head writer position? I am ecstatic. Oh my. Season 15 was, I think many of you will agree with me, the single lowest point that Thomas has yet hit. It's been downhill since around season 7, but season 15 is the lowest point that we've hit, and that I think is possible to hit, because hit entertainment. Because I think season 16 we've been promised some kind of better writing. And it's not going to happen until probably around season 17. I think we need to face that fact and expect to see more of the same in season 16, whenever that's supposed to premiere. But I honestly don't think it can get any worse than season 15. If you've read on the Soda Island Forum's blog, Simon, who does the British Railway series, his reviews of the season 15 episodes, which went up the day that they aired, were very insightful and definitely a good thing to check out if you want more opinions on that. But he pretty much summed up everything way better than I would be able to. And Sharon Miller being gone is a step in the right direction. What are some of the Rifftrains ideas I have for the future? Also, what is my favorite Transformers timeline and my favorite Transformer from that same timeline? Okay, Rifftrains ideas for the future. I have a Push Me, Pull You Rifftrains that I've been working on. I want to do something from seasons 1 through 5. So any suggestions for that would be much appreciated. Although I'm leaning towards something older, like a season 1 or 2 or 3 episode or something. Just because I like to riff the older stuff from time to time. And, of course, we have Misty Island Rifftrains, each episode of which, by the way, will feature Don Handel. So you might be happy to hear that. What was going to be the Don Handel special has been split up into the Misty Island Rifftrains Don Handel segments, which I think made it kind of flow better, and not risk people getting bored seeing that same shot of Don Handel moving his mouth over and 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 over again. I think that helped to break it up a little bit. So you'll be seeing the next segment of Misty Island Rifftrains next week, probably around Thursday or Friday. I'm releasing Misty Island Rifftrains episodes every 2 weeks. So this is kind of the in-between video. And my favorite Transformers timeline, the Beast era. So Beast Wars and Beast Machines, and Beast Wars in particular. My favorite Transformer from that timeline is a tie between Dinobot and Waspinator. Although I really like Quick Strike, too, for some reason. Dinobot because he had a really cool character arc, and his death scene was amazing. And Waspinator, because how can you not love Waspinator, really? I mean, the poor guy was the chew toy of fate. He got blown up in every episode, or almost every episode. You just feel bad for him. Alright, next up here, we got, are you in any way inspired by Doug Walker, the nostalgia critic, when he made That Guy Riffs? Also, how did you get into Thomas? Okay, I got into Thomas when... Sorry, car going by there, interfering with my sound, I think. I'll check afterwards to see if it actually did. But I got into Thomas when I was really little, and my parents bought me one or two of the Ertl models, which I still have. I amassed quite a large collection of them, as long as they were actually selling them in the U.S. I think they continued for a couple years in the UK after that. But that's how I started. I was hooked after that, and I had to buy more. Let's see. Am I inspired by Doug Walker? I like his stuff. I've seen his riffs. I watched his riff tracks of The Lion King when it was on YouTube, and I saw. I've seen a couple of the other things he's done, and I like him. He's cool. He has a nice little niche carved out in the internet, and he seems to be doing well with that. I wish him well. I wouldn't really say he's inspired me, though. There was a while when I actually... and here's a fun fact that not many people know. There was a while when I thought I was going to be an internet reviewer, and so I brought out these really crappy old Star Wars novels called the Glove of Darth Vader series, and I was going to review those. And I got about 2 pages into a review, and I decided, this isn't my thing. I can't do this. I'm just trying to capitalize on the fame of someone else. Yeah, I'll continue doing Rifftrains because I have fun doing that, and I'm not really enjoying this review process. So that's really why you don't see me in front of the camera more often. And yeah, Doug Walker, he's cool, but he didn't really inspire me. If Thomas leaves Brendam Docks at 1:30 p.m. and chugs down the 27-mile-long track at about 20 chugs per hour to Knapford Station, and on the exact same track, Percy is leaving Knapford Station and heading to Brendam Docks and leaves at about 1:35 p.m. and is traveling about 30 chugs per hour, when will Thomas and Percy collide head-on where an accident will occur but no one will be seriously hurt? First of all, bravo to Telatiet for asking this question. I know it's a question that's plagued many a mind over the years, but you've left out an important variable, namely how much distance is covered in one chug. Without that information, I can't answer this question. I'm sorry. What is my favorite episode of Thomas the Tank Engine? Ghost Train. My other favorites include what were they? Close Shave for Duck, Flying Kipper, Buzz Buzz, and for reasons that I'm not going to go into here because I'll probably just get hate for them anyways, Henry's Forest. Yes, Henry's Forest is one of my favorite episodes. Mainly because it was really soothing when I was younger. Do I like Tugs? I've seen some of Tugs, and I enjoyed what I've seen. Sorry, I had to edit out some of my rambling there. I haven't seen much of Tugs, but I like what I've seen. How did the idea of Thomas Abridged come around? I was watching a Abridged series one day. I think it was Gargoyles Abridged that I was watching. And I thought, Thomas the Tank Engine needs one of these. So I did one. And that's pretty much all the thought process that went into it. Aside from Thomas, what other shows do you have an interest in? The shows that I'm currently watching are Phineas and Ferb, Young Justice, Transformers Prime, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Yep, I'm a brony. The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, and Drew Carey's Improvaganza, which is on the Game Show Network. I think that's all, really, that I'm currently really deeply involved in. I'm thinking of switching over to Chuggington just out of spite for the current situation that Thomas is in. But I haven't really watched much of it, so I wouldn't really know if it would even interest me. Are you a fan of Let's Plays? I like Let's Plays. They're a very cool idea. They're kind of based around the same principle of why I riff Thomas episodes. My favorite brand of Let's Play, though, is the Rifftrains, which is where those guys from Something Awful watch bad Let's Plays and make fun of them. I really enjoy those. Hey Darth, you are the narrator for the Ernest Reloaded series. How is it to work with Kurt Kramer, and how are the lines be acted out? Secondly, how do you go about making a riffing video? I had tried once, but it was horrid. I went into detail about the riffing video thing earlier. How is it to work with Kurt? It's great. Kurt usually sends me the lines. I record them. I send them back to him. If he has any notes or what I could do differently, he lets me know. I re-record a couple things. I send them back to him, and he puts them in the video. It's pretty much as simple as it is. He's an awesome guy to work with, and if you haven't checked out Ernest Reloaded yet, make sure you do. In fact, stop watching this video right now and go do it right now. It's on the Kodak channel. I don't remember what number is in that, but I can post a link to it or something. It was the main video in my profile on YouTube for a while. So yeah, Kurt's awesome to work with, and yes, Kurt, I do have episode 2 still. I haven't sent it to you yet, but I will within the next week. Again, I'm sorry about that. I've had so much else going on. Do I like or read comic books? Yes, I like comic books. Yes, I read comic books. To give you my full pull list would take a while, but some I particularly enjoy are Green Lantern, Secret Six, which is a really awesome book about a team of villains, which needs more love, and IDW's Transformers comics have been pretty fun, too. Will there be any more Thomas Abridged, and how did Gordon become king of the engine people? There will be more Thomas Abridged as soon as I feel particularly inspired to make more. I don't have a fixed schedule with those, so I really can't promise you anything at this point, aside from the fact that, yes, there will eventually be a 3rd episode, it's just a matter of when. And how did Gordon become king of the engine people? The engine people needed a king, and he was the only one with enough charisma to do it, so they appointed him king of the engine people. And he remains king of the engine people to this day. My cat is being loud. Come here, buddy. Come on. It's a good boy. This is Gandalf. He's a good boy. Alright. Are you interested into other things? I think that's supposed to be other things like Titanic or movies. Get off the table, Gandalf. I've never seen Titanic, but yes, I'm interested in movies. I'm not sure really what my favorite film is Troll 2. That's it. Troll 2 is my favorite film. If you've never seen it, it is worth seeing. They're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me! Oh my god! That was Troll 2. What are your hopes for upcoming seasons of Thomas with the promise of better writing? Anything but what we've got right now. What episode from season 15 do I always despise? There's a couple of them, actually. I hate every episode associated with Misty Island, just kind of as a knee-jerk reaction. The ones that I riffed are a pretty good example of ones that I hate. I didn't care for that episode where, what's it called? There were several episodes this season that just had a really weird and depraved tone to them. In fact, I would recommend checking out, I mentioned Simon's reviews of Season 15 earlier. Check those out, and his views are pretty much the same as mine on the subject. But Fiery Flynn was particularly bad, I guess. If simply for the absurd concept of Thomas's firebox was on fire. If I had control of HIT and its writing team, would I sack Miss Miller? Okay, this question was asked before the other Sharon Miller question, and this person didn't know. Sharon Miller has not been sacked. She's resigned, I think. But if I had control of HIT, I would have sacked her prior to this. How does it feel to be working with the Don, the real leader, Sodor? Also, where did this great and wonderful idea come from? The Don is pretty good to work with. He raids my fridge from time to time, but other than that, we get along. If you mean the wonderful idea of Don Handel, it came from Michael Brandon's Sir Handel voice, which kind of sounded like Vito Corleone. And if you mean the question and answer video, I was inspired by Kurt's earnest making of video to try to make my own kind of thing. A more in-depth making of video is on its way. Who or what besides MST3K influenced me to make my content? I already explained that. And I believe that's all the questions. If I didn't get to yours, if I somehow missed it when I was copying and pasting them into this document here, resubmit them. I'll make a response to this and try to answer everybody's if I missed yours. Other than that, all I have to say is I hope you're enjoying Misty Island Rifftrains. You'll be seeing more of it within the next week. And bye.